Hello, everyone. This is Golden Grizzly, and I'm here to help you buy a firearm in the state of California. So, buying a firearm in the state of California is going to be a long, difficult process. It typically takes a few weeks so you can even get your firearm. So, when buying a firearm, there are certain restrictions on who and who cannot own a firearm. Some of the restrictions include certain crimes, typically violent crimes, and certain nonviolent felonies. You also need to be over the age of 21. The process also does require a background check, so you should also take care of any tickets that you have at the time. So the first thing you're going to want to do before buying a firearm is buying a safe. You can buy a large one that you can put in the closet that can store rifles and shotguns, or you can buy a small one where you can easily put a pistol and have it by your bedside. Since this does vary from person to person, you're going to want to decide what kind of gun you're going to want to buy beforehand. So typically, when going to a gun store, depending on where you go, such as a mom and pop shop, people do tend to be assholes. They don't like helping new gun owners. So I do recommend looking online for a bit. Uh, of course, I do personally recommend that you get a Glock 17. There's a lot of aftermarket parts for it, and it can be easily customizable to your needs. If you do decide to get a CCW or concealed carry license in the future, you can also buy the Glock 19, which is a smaller version of the Glock 17, but it's easily concealable and easier to carry. When buying a firearm in the state of California, you need to take a test. It's called the California Firearm Safety Test. This test is mostly common sense. It asks you simple questions such as where can you find the type of ammunition your firearm takes and other things like that. So once you've chosen your firearm, once again, I do recommend a pistol. It's going to be easier to carry around and easier to maneuver in your own home. Um, you're going to need to fill out some paperwork, and you're also going to need to prove your residency. So typically, it's going to be your ID that's required, and they're going to require residency such as your car registration, or you can even use a fishing license. So once you fill out all that paperwork, of course, there's going to be a 2 week hold, or 10 days roughly, is what it's going to be before you can get a hold of your firearm. So at the time of your purchase, you should also buy a few other things. Of course, I do recommend if you do not buy the Glock, you're going to want to buy a loader for your pistol. It's pretty difficult depending on your pistol. Another thing you're going to want to buy, of course, is going to be ammo. You're going to want your gun to have ammunition so you can go practice shooting. Uh, Depending on what kind of gun you get, there's going to be different ammo. For the Glock, it's going to be typically 9. For the Glock 17 and 19, it's going to be 9. But you can typically check the side of the slide on your pistol, and it does contain the type of ammunition it takes. You're also going to want to buy a holster. It's not necessary. Most places that allow you to shoot won't let you carry a holster, but it's recommended that you have one for future use and so you can carry it around your house so it doesn't accidentally go off if you pull the trigger. Another good thing that you could get is extra magazines. Most pistols typically only come with one or two, so you should get some that are marked for the range and some that are marked for your in home use. Now that you have your firearm, you of course need to practice with it. You need to be able to make sure that you can hit your target because every round that you fire out of that pistol, you're liable for. So, some firing ranges that I do recommend include the Beaumont Indoor Firing Range. It's an indoor range. It's pretty cheap for an hour. Just don't shoot the roof. There's the LAX Firing Range. It's a gun store. They mostly focus on ammo, though. It's a good place. You can also shoot there. Another good one, it's an outdoor one, is the Angeles Shooting Ranges. It's an outdoor range. It's run pretty good. I do recommend that one if you're in that area. Another great one that I do recommend is the Route 66 Shooting Range. It's an outdoor range, of course. You can rent private areas for a few hours. It's pretty good price too. Of course, depending on where you live, you can look up areas. Typically, there's a few open areas, such as Big Canyon. That's a great place to shoot. It's difficult, though. I do recommend if you do choose to go up there, you are going to need a four-wheel drive vehicle just because of how bad the terrain can be. So now that you have everything, I do recommend that you practice often. You, of course, are liable for every round that you fire from your weapon. So if you miss and it does harm someone, you can face time for that. I will, of course, go further in the next video or a few other videos. I will show off my ability to shoot. I'm not the greatest, but I'm at a place where I feel that I can defend myself. Thank you for watching. Was just a quick video, quick rundown on what you need and how to get started. I'm, of course, going to go into depth in more videos such as firearms, ammo, and what you should do and how you should practice firearm safety. So please leave a like, leave a comment as well, and thank you again for watching.